Aloha-Namaste. Songbird Iaswe here with you again on another day, helping you remain free of free. Yes, that's what I say. And how do we pray? We listen within again and again. Yes. So today's video, and welcome for being here. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Hopefully those bells aren't too loud. Little bells in the background reminding us of the pure lands, of our origins, our pristine origins. Turn that down a little. Okay. Today's video is going to be a quick, spontaneous flow about how to find peace in any circumstance. Okay. So one of the things that the valid spiritual paths of this world require is that you learn the preliminaries. Some are gifted with certain abilities when they come through from their last experience here and from their cultivated and practiced CDs, spiritual gifts and abilities. Those people still will learn the letter just to know it. I individually was gifted as a child with spiritual healing power, and I used to get money for it and everything, but I stopped because I didn't understand how it worked. I just knew there was a God, and I guess it was simply just that I knew there was a God. God is the only prayer you need. What is God? That's just a word for the highest self, the undefiled, the immutable, the unchanging, eternal, infinite perfections of perfection, beingness. Sounds silly. It's hard to put into words because you really can't find the language sometimes to describe the experience. However, there are great scriptures of the world in all the valid traditions, spiritually speaking. You can find it in the Bible, you can find it in the Buddhist scriptures, you can find it in the mystic Advaita Vedanta and all the different parts of Buddhism, Taoism, Hebrew mysticism, or regular Hebrew practice. The Orthodox even has it there too, even in the Catholic Church. You can find it, it's just hidden behind ceremony, and really it's about the preliminaries. So what the preliminaries are things like learning what meditation is and how to do it, learning what your mind is and how to watch it, learning how to take control over your body and tell it so it doesn't tell you, learning, ways to keep the peace in times of turmoil and challenge to your innate sense of peace. Because we often forget that where we truly, our innate source is abiding, intrinsic, naked, timeless, cognizant awareness. Below that is Christ consciousness or clarified Buddha, awakened consciousness. Below that is regular consciousness. Below that is the mind. Below that is perception. Below that is the body. Your mind is a quantum holographic projector, and you are a part of two projections while you are apparently in this realm. One is the collective delusion. Okay, you have to learn about this, what you seem to be born into, although the spirit can't be born and cannot die. And then there's your individual, when you individuated and began to compound and aggregate your own world of experience, that's within the larger delusion. And so what happens when you start meditation and the spiritual practice is you start to become lucid in the dream. This world is like a dream or a rainbow or an echo or an image of the moon in the water. Is it there? Is it not there? Is it a reflection? Is it a shadow? Even the pattern languages of this realm, Phi, Pi, Fibonacci, fractals, they can show you sacred geometry. Even the shadow realm has to have a language of perfection underneath it, the higher math. And remember that math is music that you can see, and music is math that you can hear. They're the same thing. And there is a higher math, the heart math. Because another thing to learn is this. Your heart has 50,000 neurons, brain cells. Now your brain has trillions. It's complicated. Your heart has a simple neural network. You have a mind in your heart. And meditation is learning how to put your mind in your heart. And your heart is a garden. And if you put your mind in your heart, your mind can become a garden. and your life can become a garden. So what is this all about, finding peace here? Well, one of the first things to realize is this is temporary. It arises and it subsides. Birth, old age, suffering, death, right? Like a wave on the ocean. It rises and it dissipates. Okay, you've been here many, many times before. And basically every sentient being has been your mother and you have been their mother. That's how many times you've been born if you're listening to me and you're here right now. And this realm is like a dream. Now, it either can be a heavenly dream or a hellish nightmare, but that's up to you on how you choose to react. And it's going to take a while to get control of your mind. So one of the ways that the main way that we keep our peace in times of challenge to that peace is meditation and prayer. Now, Yeshua ben Joseph, the one they call Jesus, he said watch and pray, but really meant, just how one word changes things, he meant watch and listen, because prayer is listening within. If God is your omniscient awareness, the all-knowing, what can you tell it? And remember, it says in Hebrew ancient scriptures, in the Torah and the Old Testament, God is no respecter of persons. Cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostrils. Isaiah, right? Okay, so it's there, see? So how do you cease from being the one whose breath is in his nostrils? It doesn't mean commit suicide. It means see the big picture. And the way you do that is by turning within, getting quiet, watching your mind. Eventually you'll have moments of stillness or quietness. In a quiet mind, your mind is like water. And when it becomes placid instead of stormy, the reflection is more clear. It's easier to hear. Within, remember, you hear your thoughts. You hear your thoughts. They're audible. And you see them as well. And what you're learning to do with your eyes closed, meditating, although you can do it with your eyes open as well, is learning to see. It's called the view. Okay? And there's two views, right? There's the all ground, which is the material, separate sense of self, personalized ego, personal sense, trying to gain its way by the sweat of its brow and fighting against others and competing and warring. And okay, that's one side, right? But the other side doesn't even know of that, right? There's a peace that passes understanding, because the mind can't even grasp how this omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent realm can be. But it's that realm that gives rise to you, because your name is I, and you don't see I in this realm. You see the results of I and the results of an ignorant I. So what you're doing is, through meditation, you're becoming lucid in the dream, and it's like different states and stages of lucidity all around you in the world. The Buddha had said he was awake. Christ also, right? Okay, awake, what does that mean? It means they can see the view. The ground luminosity, not the all ground, not the separate sense of self. The ground luminosity, all light. It's all right. No need to fight. Turn the other cheek. Resist not evil. These things start to make sense. Why? Because if you give your power, your sovereignty, and your dominion as the extension of all that God is, you've given away your kingdom, and you'll lose, because you've given your power to the lie. There's only one lie, the belief in two powers, two presences, two activities, two awarenesses. There's only infinite one. It's the only number. This is an infiniverse, not a multiverse. And this infiniverse is a speck in your mind. And your mind, think about that, trillions and trillions of galaxies with trillions of stars, trillions of Googles, the bigger number than you can think of. And yet your mind is a speck in your awareness that was laughed at. But you can clarify your mind and have a better experience here, and help others suffer less, to create less suffering through your actions, through your speech, through your thought. The Eightfold Noble Path. So you can find your way, it's there. And you're very fortunate that you live in a world where there still are Dharma teachers and Dharma teachings that are available that aren't corrupted yet, because now with AI, everything's changing. You're not going to know what's what. They're going to tell all the new generations what to think and how to be. We've got to. Unfortunately, I think really computers have to be gotten rid of. They're tools, but we're going to have to do something. before it's too late. Although, this world's disappeared many times, and there's been billions and trillions and gagillions of worlds that have disappeared, and you've been on them. So, remember, you are life, you are truth, and you are love. That is the living sacred trinity. I is we, right? Life, truth, and love. Love is you. Let it come through. So I wasn't going to talk too much about this today. Just a little quick thing about meditation. So meditation is, first of all, you get comfortable in a place where you're not going to be disturbed for a few minutes. You don't have to time it. It's not about that. If you can't sit cross-legged, sit in a comfortable chair with a straight back. Close your eyes or leave them open and take a few deep breaths. Cleansing breaths, getting mindful. And meditation makes you mindful. Being aware of your surroundings, being aware of the sensations in your body, being aware of your thoughts, and just getting calm and sitting, watching your breath. Every time thoughts try to take your attention, just watch your breath, right? If you can get to 10 breaths, you're really far along. Ultimately, you'll get to a place where you can just blink your eyes and it will remind you. You won't have to go through the subject-object thing. Remember, if you're trying to meditate, it won't happen. I know that sounds funny, but you have to let it be. Let is. Is alone overcomes the world. Joel Goldsmith taught that. And someone said something to me recently about do-gooders. Well, Joel was my true first teacher after Mrs. Eddy. And I understand, I read all 40 of his books 5 or 6 times. I've listened to every lecture at least 3 or 4 times. I've had many miracles. I'm not a do-gooder. I'm just trying to help people not suffer as much, just like my teacher. I ain't around trying to be no do-gooder, and I ain't calling myself good. There is none good but one, the Father, the source, substance, and law of your being. If you want your divinity, you have to give it to all, even your enemy. If you want your divinity, you must give it to your enemy. That's right. So I'm still here. These are bonus voice videos because, I was out here, and here I am on more bonus days. So I'm trying to, give as much as I can. And I hope that this will help people. Remember, when you can do it many times a day. You can do it meditation briefly. You can do it for long periods. You can do it while you're driving. I don't suggest closing your eyes while you're driving. But blinking, you can even do it while you blink. And before you enter a room, before you exit, the Spirit goes before me, the Spirit stays behind me, the Spirit's beneath me, above me, within me. God is in the air, God is in your heart, God is in your mind, it's everywhere. But it's the still small voice. I stand at the door and knock. You see through your eyes. What you see is a holographic projection. But when you learn to see through the view, and you see the emptiness of this world and sentient being, and you recognize the fullness of the light and of awareness, you got it. You got it. Sooner or later, wouldn't you rather be sooner? Wouldn't you rather get other people out sooner? And even ultimately, even that isn't true. You're going to get to a place, if you stick with it, where you see that none of this ever even happened. And that is true too. But that's the I always already amness of beingness, the I amingness, the is-asingness. Right? What do those things mean? Well, we'll start making some more videos, some how-to videos. I've been turning within, trying to ask the Spirit, besides sharing my poetry and spontaneous flows, what can I do? I know people like how-tos. I did start a TikTok channel recently. I don't really know how it works. I'm going to see about that. Maybe get some more people some help. I'm going through it right with you. And if you know me, you know the challenges that I've been through, even just in the last couple of years, but all my life. And you know what? I still wear a genuine smile, right? And I'm finally getting my new denture. And, things happen, and it's how you react, right? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Acknowledge him is it in all thy ways, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes, and let not your heart be troubled or afraid. But there's so many scary things. Yeah, that's what your mind's telling you. But the mind is trickster. It's like a tiger or a monkey. You can tame it, you can make it your ally, but you can't turn your back on it. it'll trick you because it doesn't want to die. It's afraid of death. And the funny thing is, this life is much harder than the other side. It is so hard here. I've already died twice. It's beautiful. Okay, so don't be afraid of that. But also don't cop out, right? Believe it or not, there is a master plan. And it's about benefiting the group soul. The more of us that can rise in consciousness to that state and, that altitude and attitude of prayer, the true prayer that Joel spoke of, the more that we help the whole. Right now it needs it more than ever. People need to get out in the streets. I'm saying it. It's true. It's time. The robber barons are stealing from the poor right now. They're stealing from you. America. Arrogant men engaged ruining indigenous culture altogether. Oh, did I say that? But it could be a miracle extending real integrated conscious awareness. Right? Integrated. Skin color blindness. It could be America, arrogant men engaged ruining an integrated culture altogether. Indigenous culture was integrated. They lived with nature. And remember, nature's our teacher. It gave us our divinity. It shows us the patterns, and nature's under attack. They want you to live in smart cities. They burned down places like the Palisades where I grew up, and the high school I went to, or Lahaina where I got my first tattoo and used to have an art gallery. Those fires were started by man. They weren't natural fires. Now, this is probably going to get edited because I said that or stopped, but I'm telling you right now, there's way bigger dubiousness going on, deceit and deception. And there's a special hell for people like that. Don't let it get you down. Wear your crown. Doesn't go with a frown. And to call Trump a clown is to insult clowns. Bozo was a much better man than Trump. Or any of the politicians. Where's the good ones? Carter, he was a good one. It's the only one in my life. Okay, guys, enough about that. How to meditate and find peace however you can. If you have questions, put them down in the comments, and I'll try to answer them in the next video or a short. Please thumbs up, share if you like this, if it can help you. If you have some ideas or some questions you'd like me to talk about, please. Okay, thanks again for being here. Love is you, I is we. Stay free of free. You get me yet?